Good morning, Brightside Institution, and welcome to a new season of the BNC podcast. We discuss all the events, students, and juicy info of Brightside and Halcyon Bay. As always, we're your host, Rowan Walker.
And Axel Rudolph, back in the flesh.
I gotta tell you, Alex, it feels pretty good to be back in the studio for a new season, as we're recording before the day the new semester actually starts in the Brightside Newspaper Club room.
Luckily for us, the staff is still unaware about our entry point that shall not be named. Cause when you're going to a school filled with ticking time bombs and students' clothing, you gotta have some secret entry and exit routes.
But don't worry, we made sure to cover our tracks so the principals don't catch us. We couldn't keep our fans waiting for one more day with how interesting this year's batch of new students are. Honestly, I couldn't contain my excitement. How about you, Axel?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was great to have another batch of wannabe villains to stock. I mean research.
Remember, Axel, these aren't villains. These are the heroes of tomorrow, or something like that.
I'll believe it when I see it.
But anyways, we have a real treat for this episode, don't we not?
Yup! Bam! During our little break-in, we paid a little visit to the principal's office to gather files on the new students of Class F. Unfortunately, one of us dropped their share of the files as that RoboCop was about to catch us, and we only have 9 of the 18 files to share with you today.
Yeah, that one of us was actually you.
Anyways, let's get into this thing, shall we?
Okay then. Well, like we said before, we have 9 out of the 18 files, and these 9 that we have are pretty interesting. So, who do we got first?
Looks like the first person we have here at the top of the stack is Samuel Kurtis. Weird looking fella, isn't he?
Ooh. I mean, I love the hood. You rock that fashion statement, dude.
But at the same time, his skin almost looks like it's made of stone or something. And what about that blue thing on his head?
I'm more worried about those strange green bluish markings around his body as well. Honestly, it's kind of creepy.
Oh, well, this is a school for wannabe villains, as I said, or heroes of tomorrow, as you said. But I guess his overall look kind of matches that description, don't you think?
I mean, to be honest, if anything will scream, I am a wannabe villain, Samuel will definitely be the one to have that screaming image.
Speaking of that screaming image, I can't help but to feel like his whole, gray skin or whatnot kind of looks familiar. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. Just can't put my finger on it.
Now that you mention it, I've actually heard some reports of something like that as well, but...
I guess that's just a story for another day. Or maybe he's some kind of alien or something.
Well, we'll have to find out soon as the day approaches.
One more day.
Yep. Next up, we have a normal, ordinary guy named Olliver Durst. I gotta tell you, I am weirded out by the fact that a normal kid is going to a villain school.
Yeah, poor bastard. They're gonna eat him up alive.
We better start making the funeral preparations now. Gonna be honest, I do like that scarf he wears. It's a good fashion statement.
I wish I had the heat tolerance to wear a scarf all the time, but whenever I do, it makes my throat itch.
I just admire people who wear scarves like that. And that leads us to our next character, whose scarf is all the craze. He's actually a hero that's, has some street cred in Halcyon Bay. It's Fray, the scarf-swinging hero.
Oh, another scarf guy. Interesting. Maybe they'll get along. Maybe he can watch his back or something. He's gonna need it.
I mean, who would you want to watch your back? A normal, ordinary villain or a hero like Fray? Honestly, he has a lost street cred with all the side and undergoing criminals of Halcyon Bay. And to be honest, I'm kind of surprised that Fray ended up in a villain reform school. Honestly, I would think he would wind up in another school.
To me, it seems like he, based on his sort of low street level reputation, that some hero would come along and say like, "Hey, I can make you my new project or something."
Yeah, you expect people like the Archipelago or Aegis to pick him up in some way, but I guess not. But hey, when you're on this podcast, we'll make sure your name's known throughout Halcyon Bay and Brightside.
Not just your names, your address too, your phone number, your social medias. Well, actually,
Hey, I think you're going a little bit too far with that one.
What do you mean? We do that every year.
I mean, you're not wrong there. I'm actually surprised the principals haven't caught us yet.
They'll never.
Never. Anyways, time for our next character. Well, a little bit of a interesting character to be precise. Who do we got?
We have this person named Amari. All we really know about them is that they come from Finland or something. Look at that thing on their face. Like, seems like some kind of weird makeup.
You gotta admit, it does look very pretty. Like an Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis!
Yeah. I mean, the colors match up.
This time of day. I'm just kidding.
But it seems like those, I don't know, tattoos or something on their skin maybe hold much more than we think.
Oh, you know what? I think I just remembered something.
Ooh, do tell.
I think I've seen the pattern on their face on the nudes at one point, except it was all red.
Oh.
It was this whole incident where these guys were like following this person, and the next thing they knew, they were on the ground screaming, saying they were on fire or something.
Thinking she is the same person?
I don't know. I mean, the patterns kind of match up from what I remember, but it was all red. This person has like green, white, lavender.
And looks like it shifts every single time. Like, it all mixes together.
Who knows? Maybe we'll find out once we get more information on them.
Well, yeah, they will be pretty exciting to see. Next up, we have this very amusing guy named Tobe Ricardo, who thinks dressing up as a pirate is the newest fashion trend of this century.
He probably should get fashion advice from that Olliver guy.
Yeah, that eye patch is not cutting it for him.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably some lame-o thing, like he has like some kind of embarrassing tattoo or a different colored eye under there or something.
Wouldn't that be the day? Apparently it says here that Tobe is able to create realistic mirages, illusions of some kind. You think he would be able to create an illusion of the chocolate stash we have?
Even if it is just an illusion, I would just love an endless amount of chocolate right now. It would definitely help keep me awake for this whole podcast. It's like, what, 11 at night?
True. Let's be real. With a new branch of students, it only means that we're going to learn more from here. We're going to spend all day with these guys. Who we got next?
What the heck? Look at this guy's ears, man. Wow.
Is that a walking, talking raccoon person? Am I right?
Sorry, man. I think the furry convention is next door. Am I right, boys?
That's a good one. The files says his name is Charles Darby Newton, but he has a nickname here called Nuby, and I gotta say, that's probably the worst nickname someone can have in existence.
The word noob is literally in the name.
Yeah, adding a Y does not help it at all. Not one bit. Apparently, the guy's a super genius that can make a lot of gizmos and gadgets out of literally anything.
Isn't that what Amazon is for?
Think of that. Think of this and Nuby's talents as that, but greater. This guy has a lot of talent.
Maybe we should hold back our tongues a bit, making fun of him. Maybe he can make us some good new equipment for this podcast, because I feel like that my mic only has a few years left to live.
Who knows? Maybe we can meet up with him.
Soon we don't have some other stalking business to do. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I mean, research.
Yep, research. That, Anyways, let's ditch the raccoon person and go for the sick boy.
Sick boy?
This guy named Connor Nelson. Next file, behind Nuby. Apparently this guy wears a mask for a living and do get sick almost every day.
Like, just sneezing sick? Is it, like, contagious or
Not just
something?
sneezing. I heard is that he has a new sickness every single day.
Oh, man, no wonder he wears that mask. I thought he was just trying to hip or something. A lot of these kids here have weird fashion choices, you know? But at least he
You're
has a
not wrong
reason.
there. But it looks like with any sickness he has it under control. So I think the best thing to do would be to steer clear just in case it's something very dangerous. Other than that, he seems like a pretty cool guy. Apparently, he's very good with chemicals and such, from what this file's saying. Who knows what he can mix up. Okay, so next up, we have this moth. Am I looking at this right? Says here his name is Saturnii Lua. Seems out of this world, would you say?
That is definitely one way of putting it. In fact, I actually already knew about this guy long before this podcast here. I mean, I didn't, like, know him. I just know what he did.
What do you mean what he did?
He was originally going to, like, Phoenix Academy or something like that, and then he got, like, kicked out for, like, doing something really bad. To be honest, I can't imagine this, like, twink-looking guy doing something that bad, but, I mean, the record says it right here. The face matches and everything.
Whoa. You're meaning to tell me that this guy went to Phoenix Academy, then dropped down to here?
You know, right? Talk about a tragedy.
Very much a tragedy. And it looks like we're getting to the last person of our 9 files. And no way. Holy crap. I didn't think she was here.
Who is she? Who are you talking about?
Dude. Sylvia Trevesh.
What?
Sylvia
You're
Trevesh.
joking, right?
Daughter of Shrieking Nightmare, Sylvia Trevesh.
I mean, the daughter of the people who pulled the greatest heist of all time that nobody knows about?
Think I would be speaking of someone else? Duh! If anyone is going to scream, I want to be a villain, it would be the daughter of Shrieking Nightmare. I would not want to be on her bad side. So a word of warning to all students in Brightside. If you try to mess with her, steer clear. You be way out of your league.
That isn't to say don't keep an eye on her, though. I would say that both for Saturnii and Sylvia here, looks can be deceiving. I mean, if Saturnii really did something that bad with a face like that, and Sylvia really wants to be a hero with a name like that, who knows what we can expect from these guys.
Very true. I'm honestly pretty excited to see what all 9 of these guys can do. I'm sure they'll be making waves in Brightside and around Halcyon Bay for weeks to come. Perhaps even months.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll give us a lot of entertainment.
That's for sure. But it seems like we round out all 9 files that we have. Still pretty mad that we weren't able to get back the others that we dropped. But exciting to be back for another season of this podcast and another year of Brightside. I'm sure these batches of Spics, well, heroes to be, will be very, very interesting.
Yep, that is definitely one way to put it. Very interesting indeed.
But for
In
now,
fact,
oh, what were you saying?
I just realized we forgot to do our.
Oh, you mean,
Oh, we forgot.
I think I know what you're talking
Do
about. Our student superstar highlight.
That's the word. God, it's been so long since we've done this, I can't even remember the names of our titles.
That's on me.
Maybe the chocolate's getting to my head.
That's on me. I did put the weirdest names for our segments.
What did you say it was? Like, Starship?
Student
Meant to fly? Something like that?
Student superstar. It's where we highlight one student where we each think is going to make the biggest waves.
And the more we find out about these people, the more interesting this segment will get.
Yep. So, let's do it now. Who do you think your student superstar is, Axel?
Oh, definitely out of this list, it's gonna be Sylvia, man.
Ooh.
Like, seriously, I just can't see, like, she fits the criteria of the person who's should go here, but I always thought that she would avoid going to a place like this at all costs if anyone could keep her out of it.
That is true.
But at the same time, like based on what we've seen from her, she's gonna be really interesting to study.
As for me here, I really gotta say I gotta be the opposite of you, Axel. While you go with the villain, I'm going for the hero. It's gotta be Fray. I mean, the Duke's here in a villain reform school, and yet has been making waves on the streets as a hero for how many weeks now? There's gotta be a reason why he's here.
I figured he just got unlucky. I mean, if you're like new to all this heroing stuff and you end up at something like Brightside, that's not a great early start to your career.
I mean,
But hey, I don't blame you for that choice. I find him being very interesting as well.
I mean, if you're new for the hero work, you're bound to slip up one way or another. Maybe that slip up causes you to go to one of the, best villain reform schools in Halcyon City to date.
Yeah, sure, best.
Best, at most. But it seems like we'll be running out of time now. Got any last minute things to say, Axel?
No, all I can say is that I'm excited to see what these little dweebs are gonna get up to. I know that I'm definitely gonna have a filled out notebook by the end of this semester.
I feel like it's going to be more than one notebook with the amount of chaos that might happen with this group. We haven't even gotten to every single student.
Yeah, some of them might even get their own notebooks.
That's going to be one heck of a doozy. So, for next episode, we'll be going over the other cast of interesting students as we try to get back those files. And hopefully we'll be learning more about the many secrets these other students may have to offer.
Ooh,
You
secrets.
excited for that?
Definitely, man. Who doesn't love a good secret?
True. From what I've seen with some of the files, I think one of the students here actually works for Aegis.
I didn't see that in the files we got. Was it something you
It was
briefly
before
saw?
we dropped the other. Well, before you dropped the other files.
Hey,
Kidding. Anyways, we've rounded up the time that we have. As always, we'll see you tomorrow for a new episode. As always, this has been Rowan Walker.
and Axel Rudolph.
Signing off.
off.